Attention skinny guys looking to bulk. Are you still eating every day, thinking that you have eaten enough just because you felt full for the day? But then you realize that you have not been gaining the amount of weight that you desire over the months. You have been staying the same over and over again. In this video, I'm going to teach you exactly what you should do instead to pack on some muscle as well as to put on some weight, and you do it fast. The number one thing that you should start doing as a skinny guy wanting to look big is to start training. And what kind of training, you may ask? Training specifically for resistance training, otherwise known as weight training. And the reason why I mention resistance training as opposed to bodyweight training, even though bodyweight training is good for beginners, is because resistance training is good for building strength as well as muscle at the same time. Now let me tell you a story about myself when I was 14 to 16 years old. My father will always ask me to help him in certain house chores. And those certain house chores will require me to lift heavy furniture. And this furniture, when I couldn't lift up these furnitures, my father will use to make funny remarks about me, saying things like, "Oh, you're all bones, you have no muscle, how are you going to get the girls, how are you going to be a man when you grow up?" And even though these remarks are light-handed and it's just for banter, I felt a little bit insecure because I knew what my dad said was true. And that's when I started to do bodyweight training. And after lockdown was alleviated, I decided to give resistance training a chance, a shot. And that's when I realized that my strength gains went off the charts once I started lifting weights. Once you start weight training, you can finally carry 1 or 2 more grocery bags for your mom. But when it comes to resistance training, the exercises that you must prioritize are compound lifts such as bench presses, squats, as well as deadlifts. And these 3 exercises are usually the exercises that I will recommend to the clients that I work with, and they will not just see increase in muscle mass, but also increase in strength. And if you're interested in gaining weight or having an aesthetic physique, or you just need a little bit of a push with one-on-one coaching, there's a link in the description where you can book a call with me and we will see what we can do to help you by that. And moving on to the next point, training alone isn't enough. The next point that I'm going to talk about is the most important part of this video, which is tracking your calories. Now, why is it so important to track your calories? As I mentioned at the start of the video, you will be eating every day thinking you will be eating enough, but then you realize that you're not gaining weight over the months, wasting time. And that's when I found out that tracking calories is of utmost importance. And I found this out through a YouTuber called Brandon Carter, where he basically talked about tracking calories at one point of his video. And he said a phrase that will stick on my mind for many years to come, which is, if you ain't tracking, you're slacking. And that basically means if you don't track what goes into your mouth, pause. You wouldn't know whether you're eating enough calories for you to gain weight. And how are you supposed to know how many calories you should eat to begin with? And that's very simple. You can just go Google and search calorie maintenance for my weight or something. I found out that 500 calorie in terms of surplus is the sweet spot. So if you're looking to bulk, go within the 500 caloric surplus range. The last point that I'm going to make in this video is about nutrition. Now, when I talk about calories, do you actually know what it means? Well, calories is basically a composition of different macronutrients, namely the protein, fat, as well as carbohydrates. Now, the most important macronutrient out of these 3 is definitely going to be the protein. But I want to talk about fats. As us skinny guys, we definitely should eat more fat because we tend to get cold very easily. Now, imagine a polar bear. How is the polar bear supposed to survive in a harsh environment of the Antarctic where it's always cold? Well, below their skin, they have a thick layer of fat which insulates heat or something. But I'm not really sure with all the science, but you get my point. They have a thick layer of fat that keeps them warm. And it's the same thing for us skinny guys that always get cold. Maybe you just expose your belly button just a little bit when you sleep and you just catch a cold after that. Now, as a skinny guy, you may have the fear of becoming too fat if you eat too much fat. Well, don't be afraid, because as us skinny guys, we tend to have a lower body fat percentage and we can still afford to eat more fat. And besides that, fat has 7 calories per gram of... 7 calories in 1 gram of fat. Yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. Now, moving on, besides fats, as I mentioned just now, protein is the most important macronutrient for you to gain muscle. Now, how much protein should you actually eat? It's around 0.8 grams per pound of body weight, or for those who use the metric system, is 1.2 to 1.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Another pro tip is that if you're still eating calories or consuming calories through solid form, you should definitely start drinking liquid calories. And you can do that by making your own shake. Now, when it comes to making your own shake, you're not just confined to the amount of calories that your protein shake has. You can add other substances and ingredients inside your protein shake and make it even more packed with more macronutrients as well as calories, which are basically interchangeable in this part that I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to show you how to make exactly the protein shake and the ingredients that you need to put inside the protein shake to maximize the amount of calories that you consume. This protein shake is so easy to make. If you have a tight time budget, you can do this in under 5 minutes, and this is proof. Drinking liquid calories is definitely one of the lessons and tips that I wish I knew when I was skinny looking to bulk up. Now, if you're a skinny guy looking to gain weight, build an aesthetic physique, and coming up with meal plans, or you just need a little bit of a push with one-on-one coaching, there's a link in the description where you can book a call with me and we'll see what we can do to help you by then. Now, as a skinny guy, you should definitely prioritize one of these muscle groups, which is the chest. And in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly what you can do to maximize your chest gains. Go check it out.